I have been thinking so hard for the last year and a bit, trying to work out what this episode could be, what the special focus of it could be. Because it's 5 years of me doing YouTube, which is pretty impressive, and in that time, I have had the privilege of doing so many cool things, interviewing really cool people, running games, well, a game on the World of Darkness Twitch channel. Last year, I ran The World Below, one of the more recent TTRPGs by Onyx Path, for its main developer, author, Matthew Dawkins, and I was kind of in a lucky position, like one of the first people to actually have a look at the manuscript and just run it for the people who created it. That's such a weird thing for me to still try and process, and I feel very honoured, honestly, that I was able to do that. Done some really cool actual plays. I've made some really cool and amazing friends. Just the people that I've met have been really incredible. We've done a lot of news-related stuff and reactionary sort of things, and unfortunately a fair amount of it has been negative because I'm honest, and if I don't like something, I'm going to talk about it and make you all aware of it. And if it's something that I feel is particularly bad, then I think we should have that conversation and talk about the things that need to be talked about because I believe they're important. That, and I'm also of the opinion if someone like Wizards of the Coast with D&D did half the stuff that World of Darkness have done, I think everybody and their mother would have an aneurysm, but whatever, that's a conversation for a different time. So I was trying really hard to think about what I could do, to celebrate 5 years of YouTube and all the cool things that I've done. One of, if not the only, content creator of World of Darkness that's covered all the clans and bloodlines in their entirety, who's covered the vast majority of Wraith, who's covered Demon and all these other bits and pieces in between, because that's all very impressive. I've been in a main gaming outlet website earlier this year, in fact, talking about how was one of the best, if not the best, detailed World of Darkness YouTube content creator, Lord Dive people out there. And they also highlighted that the Lord by Night podcast is the second most listened to non-D&D related TTRPG podcast, which is fucking incredible, really. But it's a bit difficult to celebrate anything good at the moment for two reasons. First of all, the stuff that's happening in America, so I suppose I should just pay my congratulations to criminal Trump, sex assaulter Trump, paedophile Trump, and well done to all the people who have voted for the scumbag in this position of power. I hope you all enjoy being fucked over. That's all I've got to say on that. And the second thing, more specifically to this channel and myself, I just don't enjoy doing a lot of my regular YouTube content at the moment. Primarily the lore dives. It's becoming a bit of a chore to sit down every week and spend 5-6 hours researching, writing, and then spending a few more editing. Sure, I still miss things out because I'm no editor, but it's a lot of time. Then I spend a lot of time recording it. So if we take an average that my episode's about 15 minutes, we're going to double that time because I'm going to make mistakes. And then we're going to spend a minimum of 15 minutes editing it because I've got to listen to all the way through. And sometimes I don't need to do that much because I can do these really long takes really well sometimes, and sometimes it takes me several attempts to do a sentence. On a MacBook Pro that's nearly 10 years old, that sounds like a fucking PS4 starting up whenever that's been on for a few minutes now, so the quality overall has dropped. To mix, produce, master it, upload it, because our internet's crap, that takes forever to do as well. And then to put all of that out, also takes me hours to do the thumbnails. I know some of them are really simple, some of those early clan ones is literally blue clan logo side by side, background and text underneath. But as I've been doing YouTube more, they've become a bit more involved. So they take a lot of time in the angle in which I want to try and do everything. So I spent many, many hours working and all of this. And then my subscriber fan base of 13,000.5 subscribers as of the uploading of this. Barely 500 people will watch what I put out. Which is fine, because I don't just do vampire lore anymore. I do a whole host of other different things. I talk about my opinions as I walk my dogs out and about. Sometimes I do it sat roughly where I am with a slightly better camera angle. Sometimes I sit in my bedroom talking about my campaign diaries, which there's still that one more to go and we actually need to finish that off, but that's just sort of been put on hold. My fault, because stuff going on in my life. Sometimes I do these big vlogs that take months to do because it's like how to run X sort of thing, how I did this. I enjoy doing that. Like, truth be told, it's actually because I have a platform like this where I have thousands of people who subscribe to me, who like what I do and will tune in and watch bits of what I do. And I think it's helpful, and I enjoy putting those things together and like making little childish jokes out of all of it and making really bad edits of it. I just find that all really entertaining. But I don't... That's my dog Holly snoring. But I don't really enjoy like putting so much effort into these things. Like, sometimes it can be months and I get fuck all views of it. There was one I put out earlier this year for when I did something Cyberpunk Edge Runners related, and that took months to do. And that's a really special project to me because that involved me running a TTRPG game for my partner for the first time in person. And that may sound a bit weird to some of you, but it's a long distance relationship. Me and Rika, they're in Germany, and they're German, I'm British in England, and we don't really get to see each other all that much in the flesh because we're both fucking skint, and doing anything abroad ever, well, abroad for them, slightly more abroad for me, I guess, moving from a different part. Yeah, anyway, I'm waffling. It's expensive, and we can't do that all the time, and I hadn't actually run a game for them in person, and I really wanted to do that. I really wanted to do this Edge Runners thing, I was really excited for it, and I thought, well, fuck it. Someone's going to find it useful. I'm going to enjoy doing this, and there's a new tool for my GM toolkit. So, yeah. And then that fucking flopped. And that's just very upsetting to see. And it's also really upsetting how I feel that some people's attitudes towards what I do has changed, or rather they feel more confident and brazen enough to talk about it. Like, there was a comment that I had recently, and I'm not going to say who this is, because they're not certainly the first person to make a comment like this. They expressed how cool it was that there was somebody who was doing more than just vampire stuff on YouTube, which is what I set out to do initially with Lore by Night. But then it sort of took on what I thought was a bit more of an entitled turn, where they made some examples like, it's like really cool that, if you could find like Wraith and Demon and Hunter, some of the more obscure things out there. And me and my autistic monkey brain, I thought, well, I'm going to take that as written. So I've already done the Wraith and Demon, so you can go and check those out right now, because they could have been a new subscriber, they might not have been aware. Obviously you knew I did Vampire, but with the werewolf stuff that we're doing at the moment, because YouTube doesn't fucking pump out everything that I do or whatever. Like, I've had comments from people saying I've subscribed, got the bell icon, and I never get any notifications for you, and I rarely see you on my home feed, so that's frustrating. Like, YouTube decides what my followers are interested in rather than they're deciding, so that's annoying. And again, I just do Vampire. That's what I was known for. Not everybody's going to be interested in all the other different spats, so there's all these different elements in there. But going back to that original commenter, when I pointed out that I had done Wraith and Demon, they just turned around and said, well, I didn't actually like them, so I'm not going to watch them, but I think you should definitely do everything. That would be really cool. And it's like, wow, fuck you, mate. So you want me to do everything, but you are not going to watch everything. And I sort of mentioned this in a previous vlog that I did, because things that just seemed a bit suspect to me. But like, why should I make these videos, these lore dives, if you're not prepared to watch them? Especially with somebody like that who wants somebody to do everything, but then is not prepared to watch everything. You know? And again, I don't expect everybody to watch every single thing that I've done, because not everything's going to resonate with everyone that I've done. But at the same time, it'd be nice if, you know, if the number of viewers and the engagement would match the effort, or at least come close to the effort that I put in, because I put in more effort now to what I do than when I just did the clan stuff, if I'm being totally honest. But I don't know why I should bother doing any of that, but especially with the fact that I'm just not enjoying it. Now, I do want to finish doing the werewolf stuff because I started it, and it will like really bother me if I don't complete it. So soon I will be doing the tribe stuff. I then want to follow that up by doing stuff about Pentex. So basically that's most of next year covered. So tribes, changing breeds, the Umbra, Pentex, bit on the Fomori. Unless anything else just magically pops up, that's probably going to be the end of me doing lore stuff on YouTube. So probably most of this year, maybe some of next year. What I have planned after that, I have no idea. Because I just want to get excited about making YouTube videos again. And some of these videos I've done, like the vlog stuff, the walk and talk stuff, and these project things, I really enjoy doing. I have one for Wraith the Oblivion that I've been working on since April. Now, it's going to really upset me when I put that up, and that's going to flop, but that's a really huge passion project of mine, and I'm excited to get that out there. You would have seen that I made an announcement that I've done a Let's Play of Bloodlines, which uses the official 1.2 patch. It doesn't use the unofficial patch at all, and that's the most fun I've ever had doing YouTube, like, period. And I'm really excited for that to come out, because this week is also, on Saturday, which is when the video is going to come out, will be 20 years of Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. So I'm really excited for that one to come out. On Tuesday, I have a Vampire the Masquerade related video about how to put together a vampire actual play. And I use Bloodlines as an example for that. And that's coming out on the 19th, which is the other release date for Vampire, because it was released on America in the 16th, and then the EU on the 19th, and presumably everywhere else in the world. So yeah, I'm excited for those to come out. I'm excited for the Wraith thing to come out. I want to finish up the werewolf stuff, but I don't really want to be pursuing the lore stuff after that, to be honest. I don't like Mage. The little that I've seen and the little that the fan base have forced themselves upon me, and that's a very deliberate wording, because from my experiences, Mage fans seem to be a bit full of themselves, and I just don't like that hostility with that. Now, I have been told by people that starting Mage with the 20th anniversary book was a mistake, but, as I said, with the fan base, I just find it a bit much. So if somebody can convince me to try out Mage, and tell me something that actually gets me excited, sure, maybe I'll consider it. I don't really care much for Changeling, not that I don't like it, it's just, again, I read the 20th anniversary edition book, I've seen bits of it elsewhere, and it's just not something that resonates with me, but I do know that and Mage are very important to people for very different reasons. Once Upon a Moon, I was going to cover Chronicles of Darkness stuff. I don't know if I want to, probably won't, because, again, nobody cares. 13,000 subscribers, I reckon about 500 of you watch something about that. And of course, if I go through everything, which is what people would expect me to do, is what I wanted to do originally as well, it would mean at one point I'd have to talk about Beast the Primordial. And that would not get me any popularity votes now, would it? Regardless of the material inside, there's a whole controversy, a very valid one, a very serious one, I have to say, a very fucked up one related to that. And I don't know if I can handle the stress of people thinking that I'm an abuse apologizer and all the other things that are relating to that. I don't want that at all. So, and of course, as I said, with the rest of Chronicles of Darkness stuff, I don't think people would care all that much, to be honest. And all the effort I'd put into all of that different stuff, which just would be wasted, and I'd get really pissed off with it. So I'm not going to do it. I've decided now. I don't have a script with this. I'm doing this on my phone, balanced awkwardly with a weird camera angle on one of my dog's cages. I've got 2 dogs, a cage each. So I'm just riffing. So yeah, I'm not doing Chronicles of Darkness. Probably not going to be doing the other World of Darkness splats. And I'm just going to have to try and find something to do after I've done Werewolf. Basically. Something to keep me excited and general. Because I do enjoy putting out videos and stuff. I just don't have the energy, or the will, or the care to do anything that you're used to me saying I want to do something different. Even if that means that I just stop doing Law by Night altogether and talk about something else on a different YouTube channel. And if I do, I'll advertise that and I'll be very happy and excited about that and try and get you all to come and listen to that as well, because I've got a lot more to say about a load of other things, but clearly Law by Night is only interested in talking about vampire. And I'm sorry that once again I'm being exceptionally negative about this and just waffling away about how unhappy I am, but I just wanted to be honest with you and open, and this is really the best way of me to do that, to be honest. For a rant, which I tend to do very well. Like, I'm depressed. Like, I have been for most of my life. No, that's not quite true. I've been depressed for like well over 10 years. It just feels like most of my life. I come from that generation of people, like millennial sort of thing, where talking about mental health was very much a taboo subject still. That was still a very bad thing to do. Like, I remember mentioning it to a teacher at school once, who I felt pretty confident about, like, sharing my problems with, and I can remember the look on their face that they gave me. Like, I just dropped my trousers and just shat on the floor. And I remember them saying very clearly that I shouldn't talk about that with people because people think you're crazy. And I've talked to therapists about that too, and neither of which have really taken it seriously. One of them tried to frame it as, oh, well, you may feel these things, but you don't actually have that much wrong in your life, so tough up, kiddo. Not exactly with that wording, that's just the general ethos. And the other one went completely the other way and thought I was lying and making shit up to make people feel sorry for me. Which has kind of been like a little tone that I've been getting from people online recently, which I find very hurtful and disrespectful. To be honest, I take mental health very seriously, and I don't like lies, and I do not gain anything from lying to you. Because there's still going to be people who take the piss, who think I'm not man enough, and I should toughen up, sort of thing. And if I was lying, and people would find out, that then makes me look like a fucking asshole. So, I am an asshole, but not for that reason. And since the pandemic, my anxiety has shot up. Like, anxiety is something that I deal with now. Like, there'll be times where I wake up first thing in the morning, and my heart is just racing, and I'm just a shivering wreck, and I don't know why. I think everybody's mental health has taken a bit of a hit since the COVID pandemic. I've never quite recovered from that. I live with my family. We're all immune compromised. We're all disabled in one way or another. And there are sometimes, because I'm the most physically able, and sometimes the most mentally sound, I have to mask up, to use a neurodivergent term, and just become an unofficial carer. So it's very stressful, mentally taxing, and I'm just finding everything just a bit much at the moment. And on top of everything else, and I said at the beginning, saying that I'm going to be honest with you, if I don't like something, I'm going to be voiced about it, blah, blah, blah. That's where I am with things at the moment. Like, I find it very difficult to write, record, and do all the usual stuff that I usually do. For a whole host of reasons. I don't want to do something happy, lappy, clappy sort of celebratory thing. Celebrating 5 years of YouTube where I don't really feel like celebrating. Like, I just don't have the energy for it. I don't really have much of a plan to deal with it either. I'm hoping that as time goes on I can find a more healthy way of dealing with it rather than spending 20 minutes ranting away with a dog snoring next to me to a bunch of strangers online. I have been looking to wanting to go back to therapy and giving it a lot of considerable thought, but given the last two experiences I've had, that's just another layer of trauma that I've had to deal with and like try and overcome. But regarding this channel, as a little recap, once I've done Werewolf, I'm probably not going to be doing lore dives anymore. I'm doing like little projects here and there, to try and that will excite me, to make me feel happy about doing YouTube properly. And if I feel that I'm trying to do new things with Lore by Night and it's not getting the feedback and the response I want, I will just fuck off and do something else. Which will be just a whole host of new starting up and trying again, feeling disappointed if things don't go exactly my way, but if that gets me excited and motivated to like to do something else and make myself feel happy and more in control of my life, then so be it. Now, to end things on a somewhat more positive note, a video that I did recently, I asked people to ask me some questions, which I was going to include in this original, more light-hearted thing, rather than a 22-ish minute rant about my shit mental health and all doom, gloom and despair. And yeah, I'm going to answer those questions now. Now, one person was asking about the in-universe listener for the stuff with Malcolm, the neonate. I did answer this before, but it was so many years ago, and I don't expect people to listen to like my 500 subscriber Q&A, so I will reveal that now. The listener is a cative neonate. I have mentioned bits of this before in actual episodes, but I'll just cover the whole basis now. The listener is a neonate cative by the name of Ryan Willows, who was embraced by a Setite, or ministry if you're V5 exclusively. Mr. Ryan Willows was out doing his thing in a club, got a bit handsy with someone, shall we say, and she allowed it because she saw potential in him, embraced, left him. There's a bit more information about him that's coming up in an upcoming episode that I've yet to record, which is actually an episode regarding the Church of Cain, which will be out on Boxing Day, because we've got to have like Christ and culty stuff near Christmas now, haven't we? But I'm not going to spoil that for you because it's a pretty big revelation about what's happening with Ryan. So stick around if I haven't scared you off already. And the other question that I got from somebody was, what element of Vampire the Masquerade would I change? Well, one thing that I would like to have, if I had a time machine, can go back and maybe make a suggestion to some of the writers somehow, I would, present the whole Cain, Abel mythology as like a possible origin rather than the possible origin, because the ones who really stick to that philosophy are the Sabbat. The Camarilla and the Anarchs are a bit more apprehensive about accepting that in the truth. Even with V5, where princes can't be so reluctant in accepting the presence of the Methuselahs and the Antediluvians with the whole Week of the Nightmares thing. That big old world-changing event, nothing too serious. I would suggest of like having different ideas, starting points of different clans. I know certain bloodlines and things have got like a different origin point, like the Bali, for example. Maybe introduce some different cultures and ideas. Because it doesn't quite make sense to me that the Assamites, the Banu Hakim, whatever you want to call them, would still associate themselves with Cain, as it were. Sure, they revere Hakim, but you would have thought they would have had a bit more of their own faith in that. But I know, if it was just with the writers that they had at the time, it would have been rather hit and miss, and it wouldn't have done so well. So if they had like a bigger, diverse pool of writers, they could have integrated things more respectfully. Because I know they did some things really well, but they also did a lot of things really fucking badly. Like Kindred of the East and Kindred of the Ebony Kingdom, which even the titles alone are pretty fucking problematic. But hey, they were both fronted by a white American. Like, Justin Achille was the main developer of that, and it's not saying he does bad work. I'm just saying that when you're doing things from Africa and China, like, it would make sense to have a more diverse pool of writers there. Particularly the Kindred of the East and the Kuei-jin, everything's just branded under ruled by China, which is just so racist. And a lot of the stuff in Kindred of the Kingdom is pretty bad as well. Not as bad, admittedly, at least from my white as winter snow British outlook, but I would love to be educated on that. But yeah, basically, just to sum that up, I'd want, to diversify the origin pool a little bit, just so it made things a bit more interesting. Then again, Vampire the Requiem did this. So, yeah, I guess. Yeah, I don't really know how to wrap this up, to be honest. It's sort of been running away for 26 minutes now. I know I keep mentioning the time, but well, I'm just aware that I've been here a while. I'm expecting people to listen to all of this. So hopefully next week we'll be back to usual. We'll be carrying on with the How to Wraith series, getting people to roleplay Wraith a bit more. We've got conversations about shadow guiding and then spectres. Then after that, it's my review of Werewolf the Apocalypse 5th edition, and that's going to be a pretty big one. I don't remember the list of everything. We've got the thing with the Church of Cain. We've got stuff on vampire cults, like we're using a case study. This is one of the different ones that I've done, where we're going to have a look at Midnight Mass, the Michael Flanagan Netflix horror series, and what we can learn from that and import that into running cults for vampire. And then we're going to be making a cult using some of these ideas and material from Cult of the Blood Gods. Then we're going back to Werewolf, then break it up a bit more. I've started writing these videos about which of the different editions of Vampire, Wraith and Werewolf do I think are the best, and it's all totally subjective, of course. We also have a book review, some homebrew review, which I haven't done in a while. Lords of Endless Fear, which was I was asked to do that by, I'm going to get your name wrong, so I'm really sorry, Philippe Headley, who was one of the artists for Werewolf 5th edition, a Brazilian artist. We talked a bit about Vampire and Werewolf in the past, and I really like the stuff that they've done, and they messaged me saying, hey, we've got this coming out, well, we'd love it if you could review it, but don't have to if you don't want to, take your time. And so I reviewed it, and that'll be coming out in the new year. And then, depending on how I am, we're going to do the tribes. We're going to do Werewolf tribes first, break it up with something in the middle, I don't fucking know at this point. Then the Changing Breeds, then Pentex, which I reckon will probably take us to the end of the year, or somewhere in the middle, because I'm going to doing all the Pentex subsidiaries, or at least all the ones that have actually got some decent information written about them, because most of them has got like a paragraph in Book of the Worm, 2nd and 20th anniversary edition. Yeah, 2nd edition, which was revised. Yeah, that's why I was getting a bit confused in my head. And of course there's going to be other things in between. I've mentioned the Bloodlines related content, I've got the Wraith thing that's coming out. Oh, another video that I have planned for the new year, similar to the Cults and Midnight Mass, we have what we can learn from the Crow that can help us with roleplay for Wraith the Oblivion. I don't expect that one to do very well, but again, really important for me to do that. It's a big old passion project, and I can't wait to record that one. If you enjoy it, if you do, you don't, you don't. That's something I wanted to do, so there you go. In regards to my mental health, I will try and find a way to cope with that and deal with all of that. It's very difficult for a whole host of reasons. And I do feel that I've made little progress and steps, like me leaving Twitter was one of those, for sure. Yeah, admittedly it followed some drama. Part of it was my fault, a lot of it I don't think it was. I'm trying to learn and do better. I'm not engaging with people as much that I'm pissing me off. I'm just blocking and moving on, which is a very healthy thing to do. She's really picking up the pace now, isn't he, Hot Charlie? What was I saying? Oh yeah, and despite the fact I'm trying to move on and do better, there have been some people who haven't allowed me to do that. There's been quite a few people, maybe it's just one person. There's been a lot of troll burner accounts who just leave messages and whatnot, and the number of death threats that I've had have picked up. I'm no stranger to them as a lippy git on the internet. But it's funny that, I had been accused of bullying people and insinuating violence on somebody, which neither of which of these things are true. You can go and have a look at the evidence that people pointed out at the time. And now I have people like harassing me and sending me death threats, which is like the things you are angry with me supposedly doing. It's whatever, like I'm dealing with that the best I can by blocking and not engaging with it, except in this video. And I know just me saying that, it's going to piss off the people who that originally involved, and they're going to have a bit of a moan and cry about it on Twitter, but that's okay. It's not my problem. I've apologised. I'm trying to do better. I don't expect people to be happy with me and to stick around and watch the arsehole, do better, even though that's actually what some people are doing and need a better fucking hobby. But regardless, I'm going to carry on doing the things that I love doing. Hopefully with when I start doing the whale stuff, I might start enjoying things again. I might carry on doing Lord Dive. Who knows? But right now, as of the last 2.5 years, I'm not really enjoying Lord Dives as much anymore. I'm still putting in my all writing them because I don't want to cut corners. And I'm going to finish up doing the werewolf stuff, and then I'm going to reevaluate what I want to do. I might even get to the werewolf stuff, and I'm writing partway through, and I thought, you know what, fuck this, I'm pulling out now. And I'll do another video to update you on that, and be honest with you. So for anybody who's stuck around for the last half an hour, I appreciate you all. I appreciate you all who have stuck around for the last 5 years, for all the different cool things that I've gone up to, the Let's Plays, the actual plays, the one-shots, the interviews, the Lord Dives, the Walk and Talk vlogs, the stuck around and listened to the various bits of rants that I've done about the shit things that World of Darkness have done, and just things in general. And whatever this channel goes in the future, I really hope that you do enjoy what I do. If I decide to go off and do something else entirely different on a separate channel on a different name, I hope you stick around for that as well, but again, I don't know really what the future holds beyond, I can English, beyond what I've already shared with you. So yeah, sorry for taking up so much of your time. I now have a computer chair desk thing to put together, and I'll see you on the next upload, whatever that way may be for you. Until next time, farewell.